Okay, this recording is for assignment 2, with all the resources that you need for it and the template to complete the assignment. So the first thing you need to do is go to the normal Stack website, then go to Quick Links and Stack Home Access. Log in here as you normally would at school. If you haven't got @stack over here, you then just need to write in the normal part of the email address and it should log you in perfectly like that. Once you've logged in, just go create a new tab up the top here and type in the following web address: www.bit.ly/stack in capital letters C1A2. This takes you to another page like this. Now it's really important that you sign in here with your school email address. If you don't, it won't allow you to see the resources available to you. So just like I'm doing now, this is my normal school email address. Okay, right. Now I'm in, okay. Mine might look slightly different to yours because I'm the owner of this folder. However, what you should see is level 2 distinction, level 2 merit, level 2 pass folders, as well as some website links here to relevant business web pages and YouTube videos to support you with this assignment. There is some further resources here. So this one here, component 1 assessment criteria, which we'll go into now, is effectively everything you need to do for assignment 2. So ignore this section here. Just focus on learning A and B, explore how market research helps enterprises meet customer needs and understand competitor behavior. Now, a lot of you have predicted level 1 pass and a level 1 merit. So that means for a level 1 pass, all you need to do is just identify how 2 local enterprises use market research. So effectively, if you just said Blackbird Bakery uses primary research like questionnaires, you've effectively achieved a level 1 pass. Now, for the level 1 merit, you need to just describe in a little bit more detail, such as what questions might they ask, what information are they trying to find out from doing that questionnaire. By doing that, you've got a level 1 merit. But I know a lot of you are capable of doing a level 2 pass. So to do that, you just need to develop from those sentences that you've already written for level 1 pass and level 1 merit, and just build on to explain because, or this means that, and you're beginning to explain it in a bit more detail. By doing that, you can achieve that level 2 pass. However, the trick is with every section, level 1 pass, a level 1 merit, and a level 2 pass, is that it needs to have relevant examples to Blackbird Bakery or the group lunch. There's no good saying a questionnaire is a series of questions that a business asks a respondent or a participant. This means that they can find out what products the customer wants and then they can sell it. That's too generic. Yeah, anyone can do that. However, what you guys need to focus on is something along the lines of Blackbird Bakery do a questionnaire. On this questionnaire, it might have, it says, what's your favourite cake? And you see, I've just mentioned what's your favourite cake. That's something very relevant to Blackbird Bakery. The customer then might fill that in and say carrot cake. A Blackbird Bakery might then use that information of carrot cake to then provide that product to better meet those customer needs. Okay, that by you doing that detail and then explaining what they then do with that information is getting you that level 2 pass. Okay, you mention the word cake, and they develop that cake, they make that cake, then they're able to meet their customers' needs because their customer told them they want that cake. Right, so really, the focus is on this video is pretty much to just summarize that, which I have done. We will look at level 2 merit and level 2 distinction for those who complete level 2 pass, and then there'll be further videos for that section. Now, come back out of this. You can look at this at any point if you need to refresh yourself. What is it that you need to do? But that's just for the kind of an overview there. You get a little bit confused at sometimes with the command words, which is quite understandable, really. If you notice back on the other document we were just looking at, it asked us to do a couple of things. So, for example, identify or explain. Now, if you look at this worksheet, you can see here it says identify. All you need to do here is to indicate the main features or purpose of something. Do you remember my example when I said a questionnaire? Well, that's a feature of market research. Okay, so by doing that, you would have achieved that level 1. And then go into a bit more detail. We'll go to the level 2 criteria, which is explain. Provide details and give reasons and or evidence to support an argument. Effectively, what you need to do, like I said, is give lots of examples that are relevant to that business. Okay, no good about writing some random business. If I can change the name of what you've written, will it be relevant to BT? Will it be relevant to Netflix? If so, then it's too generic. So let's move on. For this section, you got the textbook here. It's BTEC level 1 copy. You'll find this very, very useful, particularly from the kind of the content side of things. If you've missed a couple of lessons, all the content we've gone through is in this book. That's what the beauty of it is for. I'll just move on for a second. It's taking a little bit of time to load. There we go. Right. So pages that you're going to need are the following. I'm going through the book pretty quickly. However, what you've noticed here is, if you look at the top here, it says component 1, learning aim B. Okay, now if I go to the page before, it says component 1, learning aim A, and that's the end of that's the first assignment effectively. And then it goes to learning aim B. So learning aim B is assignment 2. So you'll find from page 26 of the PDF down here, and page 26 of the book, page 28 of the PDF. So from this section all the way through, I'll go a little bit slower this time, all the way through to page all the way through to page 47 of the textbook down here, and page 49 of the PDF. Now, each section in the book is relevant to a couple of questions that have been asked in your assignment. And I'll just give you an example in a few moments, just so you know exactly how to approach this assignment. Okay, so right, let's leave that there. We'll go open up another tab. You probably won't need to do that, but you can if you want. So a quick way down here is I'm literally just going to go to the page which was 46, I believe. Let's double check, 32. There we go, nice and quickly takes me to the page. And over here, let's go back to the main resource kind of area. I'm not going to click on these links. I think you can do those yourself and have a little look and see what's available. For the most part, every single one of you needs to start at level 2. You cannot start at level 2 distinction, because you need to achieve a level 2 pass, then a level 2 merit, then you can then go on to try and achieve the level 2 distinction. But you do not move between a pass, a merit and a distinction unless I've given you, I've marked your work and I've said, yeah, this is good to go, you can move on. So you need to start at level 2 pass. Now in here, there are 3 folders, okay, 3 files. If you notice that there is one for Bloodbird Bakery and there's one for the Groom Lounge. Now the reason we have these 2 files is effectively to break it up for you. You focus on one of them you focus on Blackbird Bakery, the next one you focus on the Groom Lounge. But there is an exemplar that contains answers for both of them, all within it. So if we open up, so what I would need you to do is go to Blackbird Bakery, start with that one, click on the little 3 dots here, and you can say copy to. Your boxes might look slightly different to mine, but all you should look for is copy to. Now, follow the steps. What this effectively does is it saves it in a new location on your OneDrive. You click your OneDrive, you'll see all your folders in your OneDrive. These are mine. If you haven't already done so, just click copy here, okay? And that's why I wanted to log onto this page here, because I can click onto OneDrive, and then I can show you that I've just saved the file down here. Okay, I've literally just clicked copy to, and it's put it there. For some of you quite advanced and you like to organize your work, and you might have a BTEC business folder that you're going to put this into, which is good. I encourage you to do that. But for the time being, I'm just going to show you what I need you to do once you've done this. You click rename. Where it says at the end of this file name, your name, just remove that and put your name there. So I'll put Mr. Holmes and just give you a bit of an example. Right, you can see it's just changed now. Now I'm going to open this up. So here we've got the assignment template. You effectively need to answer all these questions, and you can see they're graded. Each question's got kind of a grade that you're working towards should you answer this question in detail. So you need this assignment template up. The next tab you need to have up is the exemplar of a student's work. And then I suggest what you also do is you have the textbook as well. So you've got 3 key documents. You've got your template, then you've got the exemplar, then you've got the textbook. Now, the way I would approach this is first read this. So, to achieve a level 2 pass, learners will explain the key features of market research. So, for example, you're explaining what a questionnaire is. You're explaining what a trial is. You're explaining what a focus group is. They will demonstrate the various methods of primary and secondary research and how the SMEs use or analyze the data collected. So you've got to kind of explain to me how they use that information. Did they make a new carrot cake that I mentioned earlier because a customer told them that they wanted that? Then their work will include examples of qualitative and quantitative research results. Again, a lot of people get confused at this point, and that's okay, because what you can do is go straight to the textbook and be like, okay, this is what qualitative is. I've got to read this section. It explains to me in this section what that is. Evidence will include how the SMEs use and present this information to identify customer needs. Again, that was just me explaining that example. Lots of examples is what I need. Learners will relate their investigation to how research enables them to understand their competitors. Effectively very similar to what you did for customer needs. It's just for competitors. Now, here we go. So you can see the first question, level 1. So level 1 pass or merit, it's kind of in between here. So I'm just going to press enter so that I'm underneath the question. Come off bold. Normally it'd be highlighted like this. Just come off that. And what I'm going to do is just read the question. So what is market research? Now, there's 2 ways that I can approach this. But I might already know the answer, so I might just write it in. What I might also do is look at what the exemplar says. So it says market research is the action or activity of gathering information about consumers with the purpose of anticipating and identifying their needs and preferences. So that's absolutely perfect definition there. He's then gone on to explain in a bit more detail. So, for example, Blackbird Bakery inquiries their clientele to render on a written questionnaire their experience and viewpoints of the business in order to kind of solve their problems. So, solve the business's problems. So, what we're going to do is then go to the textbook and have a look what it says here about market research. So, I'm just going to scroll up and down and look for kind of a heading that says market research or something along those similar lines. Okay, so this is the very first section of the kind of this book for assignment 2. It just says customers are vital to any business. Without them, a business could not exist. It is therefore extremely important that an enterprise makes meeting the needs of customers, ensuring they are happy, one of its aims. One of way of finding this out is through finding out customer needs is through market research. So what does it say market research is? Okay, down here it says the process of gathering information about customers, including what they want and what they need. For example, the number of people who might wish to buy a product. Now, what we can do is kind of use the information I've just read here, the information I've read here, and the information that I've read from the exemplar. I can go to my assignment, and because I'm effectively, when I mark your work, I'm going to delete these questions. It's really important that you write the full question. So to do that, I'm going to use part of this question. So I'm going to take market research. So market research is might say involves finding out what consumers want from a business in terms of products or services. Okay, that's my definition. As you can see, I've not copied it. I've not copied the exemplar. I've not copied the book. I've kind of used the two pieces of information and created my own. I get that it might take you a little bit longer to do that, but it's good to spend that time trying to come up with your own kind of definition. If you copy somebody else's, I can't give you the grade. What I've missed here is probably kind of an example. However, because it's more or less a definition question, it's not necessary. Okay. So I'll move on to the next question for the time being, but then I get to the example down here. I'll press enter again. Why does a business do market research? Now, I remember reading something here to identify and anticipate customer needs here, as that's a reason. But also the exemplar talks a little bit more. It says to find out the gaps and opportunities within the market in order to introduce new products, to adapt products based on the customer's requirements and needs. Also to improve the products as well, beat their competitors. So there's lots of reasons. There's lots of reasons in here, probably more than you would need to, which is good because you've got lots of ideas to choose from. Here, one of the kind of the main reasons for it is to identify customer needs. So I'm just going to put in here businesses. Come up forward by pressing Control B. Businesses, or you can use the word enterprises. Doesn't matter which one you want to use. Conduct market research to identify customer needs. Now that's a very, very basic kind of explanation. I would expect a lot more. So what I might say is this means that. Yeah, I'm explaining now. This means that they businesses can identify gaps in the market. So this is a bit of information that I've taken from the other exemplar, as well as perhaps they improve their products based on their customers' views. If you've already realised, I've talked about qualitative research here, customers' views. Okay, now look, I've explained it. As I said, there's kind of a reason why they do it and what that means. Yeah, what that means for the business. Now, moving on. As you've noticed, I've used full stops, I've used punctuation properly, I've used capital letters. You can't see any blue squiggly lines, you can't see any red squiggly lines underneath my writing. So this is what I want to see your work. I don't want to see any grammatical punctuation or spelling mistakes. And finally, just to give you an example with the third question where it says, "Give what primary research does Blackbird Bakery do to understand their customers' potential? Their potential customers' need." Now, the key part in this question is Blackbird Bakery. What do they do? Yeah, what do they do? Not what the news agents down the road does. Not what KFC do. Not what Netflix does. What does this business do? Now, I appreciate this is probably quite difficult, particularly if you've missed a few lessons or you've not really been paying much attention. So you kind of need to use your own initiative and come up with some ideas that you think might be relevant. The most basic thing to do is, again, look at the exemplar. So if you're a bit unsure, firstly, with what the question is asking you to do, break it up into smaller pieces. So first, what is primary research? Well, you can go back to this textbook, and then you can look by scrolling down. Look, I'm looking for the heading that says something like primary research. Okay, here we go. So primary research involves collecting research directly from the customer. It does not use research collected or published by others. This type of research is considered first-hand. So in other words, Eamon goes out into the street and collects the information himself, rather than sitting at a computer and going onto the internet and finding some information somebody's done for him already. So now I know what that is. Okay, I can think, okay, what research do they do? I might read here. It says questionnaire, paper-based questionnaire. And then this is some application. This is relevant to this business. So the employees of each location, which we know Blackbird Bakery have many, give one questionnaire to one of their customers after acquiring the product. Okay, that is okay there. It is links to, each location is a bit of application there. After they complete it, Blackbird Bakery staff kindly leave the piece of paper in a special box in order to check all questionnaires at the end of the month, and they can improve the business. So what primary research does Blackbird Bakery do? We know that they do questionnaires, okay? And this, he's described it, he's outlined here. So this becomes a level 1 pass and merit. He's outlined it in the sense he's described what the process is. How do the customers get this questionnaire? How do they complete it? Where do they leave it? I might just go back into my work and say, okay, so Blackbird Bakery, or might say the primary research Blackbird Bakery conduct or do, yeah, is that another word for do? Questionnaire and a trial. So I'm just going to, because I've mentioned questionnaire and trial, I would probably talk about them in a bit more detail. So I kind of, just like the exemplar did, I would go on to explain kind of how do they do the questionnaire, how do they do the trial, and work with that. So I'm just going to talk about the trial for the time being, just for the sake of this video. So, for example, or I could say it slightly differently and say primary research Blackbird Bakery conduct is questionnaires. It's questionnaires. Conduct our questionnaires and trials. I'm just going to make this up, but recently Blackbird Bakery launched a new chocolate fudge cake and only sold it in their West Norwood shop to test if their customers want this particular cake. Instead of distributing, another word for sending to all the shops, instead of distributing / stocking in all their coffee shops. Okay, so I've just explained in a bit of the I've just kind of outlined how they do their trials. Okay, you could do the same. Again, don't write what I wrote, but this is all relevant to that business. I've mentioned chocolate cake. That is something relevant. It's a cake. I've mentioned West Norwood. That is where their shop is. I've also mentioned that they have lots of other, indirectly mentioned they have lots of other shops here. If this product becomes successful in West Norwood, they might then distribute it to all their stores because they've reduced the risk initially. Okay, so this is effectively assignment 2. You need to complete questions 1 to question 14, and again, all the information is here from the exemplar. Okay. And then once you've done that, you can then go straight to the second, you can go back to the second part of the assignment, which is, if I just go back a second, so to the level 2 pass, go back to click on level 2 pass. Once I've done that, I can then move on to the Groom Lounge, which is in this section here. Do the same thing, copy to your own area, rename your name, and then you can start editing it, and then just answer all the questions, make up any information that you can that's strictly relevant to this business, then you're good to go. Any questions along the journey, it should take about less than 6 hours. Any questions, get in touch with me.